How's it? So, before we say cheers to 2025 and welcome in the new year, we need to do a really crucial financial check-in. I'm going to show you just three, simple numbers that'll give you a crystal clear picture of how your money situation looked this year. That way, you can walk into 2026 with a proper game plan. You ready? Let's get into it.
No, seriously. Before we even think about popping any bottles for the new year, you and we need to have a little chat, a proper year review. And look, it's pretty much non-negotiable if we really want to make next year even better than the last. So tell me, how was 2025 for you? Yeah, for a lot of us, it was probably a bit hard, a bit unpredictable. That's just life, hey? But here's the thing, while life can be all over the place, our financial habits, well, they don't have to be. So I want you to think of this as your own personal financial report card. We're going to see where you aced it and maybe where you need to do a little bit of homework for next year.
Okay, so how do we actually grade ourselves? Well, it all comes down to these three magic numbers. You know how business people love to say you can't manage what you don't measure? Well, they're dead right. And it's exactly the same with our money. Let's have a look at how this works. All right, first up is number one, your average annual savings rate. Now, this one is absolutely crucial. It's basically the percentage of your income that you actually really manage to keep. It is the ultimate measure of your financial discipline for the entire year. Let's look at just how simple this is to figure out. Okay, so let's say your take-home pay is 20,000 Rand a month, and you somehow manage to put away 5,000 of that. Over the year, that adds up to 60,000 Rand in savings from a 240,000 Rand income. All you do is divide your total savings by your total income, and boom, there it is. You've got your savings rate, 25%. Okay, time for a bit of tough love. A 25% savings rate, look, it's a great start for sure. But you need to know, at that pace, you're looking at about 32 years to reach financial freedom. So if this is your number, don't panic. Just see it as your baseline. It's a sign that it's time to pull up your socks and find some ways to push that percentage just a little bit higher.
All right, let's move on to magic number two, your current net worth. I want you to think of this as your financial snapshot, right now, at this very moment. It's actually super simple. You just take everything you own, those are your assets, and you subtract everything you owe, your liabilities. And that number that's left over, that, my friend, is your net worth.
Now this is where you get to see your progress in black and white. Just imagine you started 2025 with absolutely zero. But this year, you hustled, hey? You build up 30,000 in savings, another 20,000 in investments, and a solid 10,000 Rand emergency fund. Now, you might have 5,000 in debt, but just do the maths. Your total assets are 60,000 Rand, minus that debt, and your net worth has jumped from nothing to 55,000 Rand. That is real measurable progress.
Look, if your net worth has gone up this year, even by a tiny amount, you have to celebrate that. Seriously, congratulations. You are literally richer today than you were at the start of the year. So go on, pat yourself on the back, because you are moving forward. And at the end of the day, that is what this is all about. And seeing that forward movement is brilliant. It really is. But it kind of begs the question, right? Where are we actually moving to? Well, that brings us to our third and final number, and this is the big one. Your progress towards financial independence, or what we call your FI number. This is the finish line. This is the amount of money you need invested so that you can live off the returns without ever having to work again. A good rule of thumb is to take your annual expenses and simply multiply them by 25. Let's break that down a bit. So if your monthly expenses are, say, 15,000 Rand, that works out to 180,000 Rand a year. Now you multiply that by 25 and you get your target, 4.5 million Rand. That right there, that's the number you're aiming to have sitting in your investment portfolio. Okay, now for a bit of a reality check. If you've got 20,000 Rand invested towards that $4.5 million goal, your progress is, wait for it, 0.44%. Yeah, I know. That number can feel tiny, maybe even a little bit discouraging. But whatever you do, don't look away. Because the most crucial point is this. Yes, it's a long journey, but you are on the way. Every single Rand you save and invest is another step forward. And please, never, ever forget about the powerful tailwind of compound interest. That's the magic that will help you get there so much faster than you think. Just keep at it.
So, you might be asking, why do we even put ourselves through all this? Well, it's simple. Ignoring these numbers is exactly like trying to lose weight without ever stepping on the scale. It just doesn't work.
Look, I know it can be scary. I really get it. Nobody enjoys seeing a number on the scale that they're not happy with. But here's the thing. Ignoring the scale doesn't change the reality, does it? It's exactly the same with your finances. Your net worth might be 0 right now. It might even be negative. And you know what? That's okay. The most important first step is to just look. Be brave. You have to face the number.
Here's another way to think about it. Let's call it the fish in the pond test. Right, so all year long you've been working hard, earning your salary, which basically means you've been fishing. The big question is, how much of that catch did you actually manage to keep?
So have a look. Are there any fish in your pond? Or did you maybe eat them all before they had a chance to reproduce? Hey, maybe your pond only has a bunch of toads in it right now. If so, cheer up. At least your future fish in 2026 will have something to snack on. The main point is this. You need to figure out what's been eating all your fish.
And that brings us perfectly to the plan. It's time to forget about those vague New Year's resolutions that we all know fail by February. We've got to be smarter than that. We need to build systems. So let's start planning for 2026 right now while we're still in 2025.
This right here is the secret. Don't obsess over the big, massive goal, like I want to save R1,000,000. Instead, focus on building the systems, which are really just habits that will get you there automatically. You know, automate your savings. Create a budget you can actually stick to. If you can get the habits right, I promise you, the results will take care of themselves.
So, what is the game plan for 2026?
Okay, first things first. Remember, this is a solution-driven audit. It is not a shaming exercise. This is not about feeling guilty at all. For all you cricket fans out there, it's about figuring out your net run rate. It's about knowing whether you're ready to whip your shirt off at the Durban beachfront or if you've maybe still got a little bit of work to do.
And listen, this applies to absolutely everyone. Even if you are crushing it financially, you still need to do this review. Think about it. A winning sports team never, ever stops practicing. It's the average companies that let last year's success go to their heads and then, boom, they lose focus. Don't be average.
That big, confident leap you want to take into 2026? It doesn't start on January 1st. No way! It starts right now with a good, honest look back at 2025. You've got to know where you're coming from so you know exactly where you're going.
So let's wrap this all up. Your savings rate, your net worth, and your progress to financial independence. Those are your 3 numbers. Yeah, are they scary to look at? Sometimes they are. But we are not going to let fear win. You and I, we are the creators of our own tomorrow, and we can face that tomorrow by using the data from yesterday. That is the mindset. So go on, do your review, and get yourself ready for a brilliant 2026.